Hey all, Tom Moran here from Tom's Big Spiders, about to do one of my featured species videos. Again, these are videos that I'm doing with species that I've had a lot of experience with, that I've raised from slings to adults. And in this case, today we are doing Grammostola pulchripes, or the Chaco golden knee, one of my all-time favorite species. I have 4 of these. I had originally bought 2 slings, got tired of waiting for them to grow up, bought a little juvenile, and then accidentally got another teeny tiny sling. I planned on getting rid of a couple of them, but I love them too darn much, so I'm keeping all 4 of them, although I have a mature male that may be going out to breed pretty soon, so that'll be sad to see him go, but I do believe I have 2 females, and hopefully I'll have them for a good long time, because again, this is one of the more long-lived species. So, enough of me talking, let's get into the husbandry and care notes for Grammostola pulchripes, or the Chaco golden knee. The Grammostola pulchripes is a stunning species easily recognized by the striking golden stripes that adorn its knees. With adult females reaching a max size of 7 to 8 inches or so, this gentle giant is almost always visible as an adult, therefore making it an awesome showcase spider. Although slings and juveniles can be a bit skittish, most folks report that their adult specimens are quite calm and even tractable. I currently have 4, including a mature male, and all 4 of them have been total sweethearts. As this species is readily available, specimens usually tend to be rather inexpensive. With ease of care, temperament, and availability being 3 of the most important makers of a good beginner tarantula, it's no wonder that this species makes it onto so many beginner lists. This spider's common name comes from the Gran Chaco or Dry Chaco, a hot and semi-arid region spanning parts of Paraguay and Argentina, where the G. pulchripes makes its home. Here, temperatures average 60 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit or 16 to 29 degrees Celsius, and the climate alternates rainy to dry. As a result, the G. pulchripes does well at normal room temperatures, which for most of us is upper 60s to mid 80 degrees Fahrenheit or around 20 to 29 degrees Celsius. My first 2 specimens were kept between 68 and 74 degrees Fahrenheit during the winter and between 72 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit during the summer, with my latter 2 acquisitions being kept in the mid-70s up to 80 in the summertime. As always, higher temperatures will lead to higher metabolisms and faster growth rates, and this seems to be especially true with the G. pulchripes. 2 of the specimens I raised were only about 1/3 of an inch or 0.85 centimeters when I first acquired them. Kept at room temperatures that ranged from 68 to 78 degrees Fahrenheit, they grew very slowly, taking almost 2 years to reach an inch. From that point on, their growth rate seemed to pick up a great deal, and all 3 hit 3 inches after another year. My 3rd specimen was acquired at the same size, but kept in slightly warmer temps in the winter, with lows only hitting about 74 degrees Fahrenheit or 23 degrees Celsius, and this one grew a bit more quickly. I've since spoken to many keepers that raised theirs in temps as high as 80 degrees Fahrenheit or 27 degrees Celsius, and they reported much faster growth rates, with their spiders reaching 1 inch in several months' time. Although supplemental heat is not recommended, do know that lower temps will likely result in slower growth rates. It should also be mentioned that the first winter I had my G. pulchripes slings, they fasted from November until about April. In the winter, temperatures in my tarantula room often fell to 68 degrees Fahrenheit or 20 degrees Celsius, and the air became very, very dry, which may have triggered the behavior. During this period, all 3 buried themselves in their dens and did not surface at all. I did not try to dig them up, but instead kept a corner of the substrate moist and waited them out. For tinier slings, a deep dram bottle or 2.2 ounce, 65 milliliter deli cup will work great for an enclosure. Larger, more established slings will do well in a 16 ounce or 0.94 liter deli cup or something around that size. Feel free to experiment with what works for you, but just be sure to keep ventilation holes small enough that they do not permit escape. For my first 3, I used the 2 5/16 inch square by 4 3/16 inch high AMAC boxes, which work great. If the enclosure size permits, I like to add cork bark and a water dish. Your sling will also appreciate it if you create a starter burrow beneath the cork. Be forewarned that many specimens like to fill their water dishes with dirt, which can perturb some hobbyists. The behavior is completely normal, and should your sling engage in this activity, just clean out the dish and refill it during feedings. All of my slings did some burrowing early on, creating their dens deep beneath the cork bark. There are many types of appropriate substrates for spiders, including cocoa fiber, peat, and regular topsoil. Some also like to use a combination of any or all of these to get the desired properties they need. Feel free to use what works well for you and to experiment with your mixes. Most keepers report that their G. pulchripes slings are good feeders. For the tiniest slings, it can sometimes be difficult to find small enough prey items to feed them live prey. Luckily, slings will scavenge feed off of pre-killed items. Cricket drumsticks, or severed cricket legs, or mealworm sections work great in these situations. Mealworms can also be refrigerated, which means you can save extras and always have them on hand. Because my spiderlings started off so tiny, I would feed them pre-killed pinhead B. lateralis roaches or small crickets twice a week to start off. I would drop the items at the mouths of their burrows at night and check in the morning to see if they were gone or had been moved, an indicator that they had been fed upon. Once they put on some size, I switched to live prey, offering one small roach or cricket twice a week. There is no right or wrong feeding schedule, and many keepers feed their spiders weekly or even bi-weekly. Find a feeding schedule that works well for you. Also, when feeding spiders large meals, it's very likely that they will fill up after only a couple of feedings before burying themselves for pre-molt. This can lead to longer pre-molt periods, so don't be surprised if your spider spends several weeks underground after just a couple large meals. As juvenile is a relative and often arbitrary term when discussing tarantula size, we'll use that designation to refer to G. pulchripes that have reached the 1.5 to 3 inch or 3.8 to 7.6 centimeter mark. This measurement is by no means an industry standard, but merely a guideline for the sake of this discussion. It is usually around the 1.5 inch mark that this species starts to develop its trademark yellow stripes. Depending on temperatures and your feeding schedule, it could be a year to even several years before your spider needs a new home. There are many suitable enclosures available for juvenile spiders, including small critter keepers, around 1 gallon or 3.79 liters, or the 2-quart clear mainstay canisters sold at Walmart. Personally, I find something between 2 quarts and 1 gallon, or 1.89 to 3.79 liters, works well, as long as it offers room for 4 to 5 inches or 10 to 13 centimeters of substrate. As always, I include a corkbark hide with a starter burrow, some sphagnum moss, and a water dish. I found that although my juveniles tended to abandon their burrows, they did continue to bulldoze and rearrange their substrate. Once they got out of the sling stage, I did not moisten the substrate any longer. In fact, all of my specimens seemed to either not care if there was a moist spot or would outright shun it. I even had one specimen move a bunch of dirt from the dry side to cover up the moist side. I do make sure that they have a water dish at all times, but again, they love to fill it with dirt. My juveniles have all been excellent eaters, taking down medium to large crickets or B. lateralis roaches with ease. Mealworms, superworms, and B. dubia will also work, but you may want to crush their heads beforehand to prevent them from burrowing, hiding, or playing dead. As previously mentioned, G. pulchripes seem to grow a bit more quickly once they get to this stage, molting more frequently and putting on more size with each molt. Once this species puts on a bit of size, it usually starts mellowing out in terms of personality. Although slings can be very shy and skittish, juveniles tend to be more laid back and much more visible. The majority of keepers report that their specimens will continue to grow more calm and even tractable the closer they get to adulthood. However, it's important to always remember that temperaments can vary from specimen to specimen and even from molt to molt. Many keepers will be looking to get their spiders into adult enclosures once they hit the 4 inch or 10 centimeter mark. At this point, the G. pulchripes is quite well established and will likely be a wonderful showcase spider. Adult specimens can be kept in something 5 to 10 gallons or 19 to 38 liters that offers more floor space than height. For folks who don't mind spending some money, they can find a variety of appropriately sized acrylic enclosures available. For keepers on a budget, Sterilite plastic containers are easily modified to make excellent utilitarian enclosures. Although not as aesthetically pleasing as their more pricey counterparts, they are inexpensive, come in many sizes, and work great. A 10-gallon or 38-liter tank can be used, but caution must be taken to provide at least 7 inches of substrate to prevent the spider from injuring itself should it climb and fall. Also, the wire mesh or screen lids are not appropriate for terrestrial tarantulas as they can get their toe claws caught in the mesh. Any mesh lid should be replaced with drilled plexiglass. I like to give my adults several inches of substrate in case they would like to do some digging. I also supply a water dish and a corkbark hide, although none of my specimens use their hides after they hit the 3-inch or 8-centimeter mark. Keepers can also choose to decorate their enclosures with plastic plants and fake foliage, but just be aware that your spider may busy herself with digging them all up. Young adult and adult specimens can easily take down large crickets, B. dubia roaches, B. lateralis roaches, or superworms. If feeding smaller prey like crickets or B. lateralis, I usually drop in 3 or 4 prey items. Adult B. dubia roaches make a great meal for a large spider, especially one that is still skinny from molting. As with my juveniles, I generally feed my young adults once a week or so. Keep in mind that if you're feeding your tarantula bigger meals, you can offer food less often. As this species is a New World tarantula, or a tarantula from North America, South America, and the surrounding islands, it has mild venom and usually won't resort to using its fangs to defend itself. Instead, it can kick urticating or irritating hairs from its abdomen as a form of defense. These tiny barbed hairs stick into the skin, causing irritation and itchiness. If inhaled or projected into the eyes, they can result in a very painful experience. Although most keepers report that their specimens never kick hairs, always use caution. Spiders can also kick hairs around their enclosures to mark their territory or before a molt, so it's always best to wear gloves when handling used substrate or furnishings. Due to its ease of care, availability, and calm disposition, the Grammostola pulchripes is considered by many hobbyists to be an excellent beginner tarantula. I count this species as one of my all-time favorites, and I find them to be one of the hardiest species I've ever kept. New keepers who are aware of the slower growth rates and who have some patience will find a lot to love about the Chaco Goldene. And with females thought to live up to 30 years or more, folks just entering the hobby can expect to have their new pet for a very, very long time. All right, so again, obviously one of the best beginner species, and it came out, I believe, number 5 on my beginner species list, the newest one I did, and I don't disagree with that at all. It could make a good number 1. Honestly, they're awesome. They're just as good as any of the other ones on the list, and they look so darn cool. When those golden start showing, it really is a cool moment when you raise one of these guys, especially if you get them from teeny tiny slings. So honestly, the only downside I would say is that slow growth rate early on when they are, again, I bought mine around 1/3 of an inch, maybe 1/4 of an inch or so, and it took quite a while for them to reach that 1-inch mark. And from that point on, they started putting on a lot of size. So as long as you're patient, or if you have, higher temperatures, again, it seems like this is one of the species that the temperatures are a bit higher, you might see a little bit quicker growth rate. Otherwise, just be patient, and I'm telling you, it's totally worth the wait. So a couple things before we move on real quickly, kind of some orders of business. Number 1, yes, I am very well aware that Petco from the Dark Den has upped the ante, so to speak, in the hot sauce challenge, the tarantula feeding hot sauce challenge, where basically you feed tarantulas, and if one of them doesn't eat, you have to take hot sauce. Well, he's broken out an even hotter hot sauce, and so yes, we will be working on that, but I do have some stuff in the pipe that I do need to get out first. Also, it occurred to me afterwards, and a couple people pointed out that I could have challenged somebody at the end of my video and, kind of allowed them to expose themselves to the misery that is this challenge. So my challenge goes out to Alex from Tarantula Haven. Love the guy, love the channel. He's a good dude, and I don't know how he didn't get caught up in this whole thing. But Alex, let's see what you got, buddy. Let's do the bomb, and then maybe I'll flash a picture of it up here so you know which one you're getting. And let's see what you got. And then, we got this other one coming up, so if you do it this time, you're going to have to do it for the other one. So, Alex, hope you see this. Hope you go ahead and do the challenge, because it is a lot of fun. Until the next day, then it's not so much fun. So anyway, that'll do it for this one. As always, thanks so much for watching. If you want to check out more of my videos, I'm going to put them around in here. If you liked it enough that you'd like to subscribe right away, thank you very much. I very much appreciate it. You can click that one up there. As always, I answer every comment I get, so please feel free to comment. I hope to see some of you on the comment section. That'll do it for this time. I will catch you all next time, or something like that.